With the ability to visit multiple destinations during one voyage while having access to a wide range of amenities on board, it's no wonder that cruises are one of the most popular types of vacations around. Even after COVID, cruise operators are constantly designing newer, larger boats that offer more space and entertainment than the competition. So today, we're going to be taking a look at 15 of the longest cruise ships in the world. Number 15. Costa Venezia, Vista Class. With construction beginning at the Fincantieri shipyard in Italy in 2017 and entering service in March of 2019, the Costa Venezia was the fourth of the new Vista-class cruise ships to be completed, and the first to begin sailing for Costa Cruises. Originally, it was specifically built to serve the Asian market and had to be based out of Shanghai, but with a changing structure in the company, it's due to be rebranded and sail under the Carnival brand from 2023. Costing an estimated $780 million, the vessel is 1,061 feet long and measures 122 feet across the beam. There's a capacity for up to 5,260 passengers across 14 decks, along with 1,278 crew members. And with a newly developed system of MAN engines that provide a total power output of 83,000 horsepower, the ship can travel at up to 21 miles an hour. Externally, it's certainly an impressive vessel, but also exudes elegance throughout the interior too. The concept was to take inspiration from Costa's Italian heritage, so to this end, the Venezia is an ode to Venice, with the main atrium, theaters, and restaurants taking architectural cues from various Venetian monuments. Number 14. Celebrity Beyond, Edge Class. Named after the slogan of Celebrity Cruises, the Celebrity Beyond is an Edge-class cruise ship that first set sail in April of 2022 and famously has Kate McHugh as its captain and Olympic gymnast Simone Biles as its godmother. It features 21 decks with a capacity for up to 3,937 passengers, plus 1,416 crew members. The ship measures 1,071 feet long and is 130 feet across the beam. Its modern engines allow it to travel at a speed of 26 miles an hour, but when you're on board, you won't be in that much of a rush to really get anywhere. Along with all the things you'd expect from a modern cruise ship, the Celebrity Beyond has a 270-degree 3-deck observation lounge, a magic carpet tender dock that when at sea is converted into a bar and patio that can move between the decks, and a stunning spa and fitness suite that's situated above the wheelhouse, and it's got incredible views across the vessel and the sea. Passengers are always connected too, because as of September 2022, it became the first in the Celebrity fleet to be equipped with SpaceX Starlink satellite connections, which means that no matter how remote a location it's in, you'll almost always have access to the internet. Number 13. Norwegian Epic, Epic Class. The Norwegian Epic was the first of two planned Epic-class cruise ships for the Norwegian Cruise Line, but after cost overruns was the only one to be completed with an estimated price of $1.2 billion. When it first set sail in June of 2010, it was the third largest cruise ship in the world, but has since fallen far down the list because of the rapid increase in monster vessels in recent years. It's 1,081 feet long and 133 feet across the beam, and with 19 decks, it can accommodate as many as 4,100 passengers and 1,700 crew members. Traveling at a speed of about 25 miles an hour, it has served on routes all over the globe and offers some of the more unusual facilities you'll find at sea. It has, for example, the only tube and bowl water slide on any cruise ship, and also boasts a rappelling wall, a 3-lane bowling alley, and an ice bar that's kept at a chilly 17 degrees Fahrenheit, or -8 degrees Celsius, where guests have to wear warm jackets to step inside. Music is central to the offering on the Norwegian Epic, something that was clear from the start when country music star Reba was announced as its godmother. It then became the host of the annual Holy Ship Electronic Music Festival, and the hopes are that after a period of being empty because of the pandemic, that it'll become a floating venue once more in the coming years. Number 12. Sky Princess, Royal Class. Sky Princess, which is operated by Princess Cruises, is a royal-class cruise ship and the fourth of its type that's run by the company. After several delays in its construction, the vessel was ready to set sail in February of 2019 and sailed its first cruise with paying passengers in October of that year. The Sky Princess is 1,080 feet long, 126 feet wide at the beam, and has a maximum service speed of about 25 miles an hour. The ship's got a gross tonnage of about 145,000 tons, and across the 19 decks there are 1,830 passenger cabins and 757 crew cabins. This gives the liner a capacity of about 3,600 passengers and 1,300 crew members. And amazingly, 81% of the passenger cabins have their own private balcony. It's based in Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and in its first season there was such a demand from people who wanted to see it for themselves that the company only scheduled 3-day cruises to begin with. The plan is for it to sail the Caribbean during the winter months and in Europe during the summer. But after the issues the cruise industry faced during the pandemic, the company is looking at alternative deployment options. Number 11. MSC Grandiosa, Meraviglia Plus Class. The MSC Grandiosa entered service in November of 2019 and immediately became the largest vessel owned and operated by MSC Cruises. It's a Meraviglia Plus Class cruise ship, which was built in the Chantier de l'Antique shipyard in France, and is the first of 3 vessels being built to this spec. With a gross tonnage of 181,000 tons, it became the 6th largest type of cruise ship in the world when it launched, and the statistics surrounding this ship are pretty incredible. It's 1,087.4 feet long and 141 feet wide. It's got 19 decks with 2,400 cabins to allow it to host up to 6,300 passengers at a time. And to ensure smooth operations, a crew complement of 1,700 is required, which includes sailors, entertainers, and every other role involved in keeping the guests happy. The ship has a maximum cruising speed of about 25.7 miles per hour, but as it was only recently built, the latest in engine technologies were used to improve fuel consumption and significantly reduce its emissions. One of the cleverest developments was a selective catalytic reduction system, the first of MSC ships to have one, and this reduces the amount of carbon dioxide that the ship releases by 90%. Combined with an exhaust gas cleaning system that also filters 97% of the sulfur emissions, the MSC Grandiosa is one of the most environmentally friendly cruise ships in the world. Number 10. MSC Divina, Fantasia Class. Originally known as the MSC Fantastica, but receiving a name change before it first set sail in honor of Sophia Loren, the MSC Divina was the 3rd of 4 Fantasia-class cruise ships that are operated by MSC Cruises. At an estimated cost of $550 million, the vessel completed its maiden voyage in 2012, and after mainly serving routes in the Mediterranean, it's now normally based out of Miami and sails around the Caribbean. The Divina is 1,093.6 feet long and 124.4 feet wide, and it has 18 decks, 13 of which are accessible to guests with a capacity of 3,500 passengers and 1,300 crew members. With a rated speed of up to 27.3 miles an hour and has a relatively efficient Wärtsilä diesel engine. And though this hasn't avoided concerns from residents of some ports about the amount of pollution it releases, it was once featured in a photo exhibition by a famous Italian photographer about the effects of cruise ships like this on the aging city of Venice. This has prompted MSC Cruises to make alterations so the Divina is more efficient, even in the way that it uses its electric thrusters to maneuver in port, which vastly reduces the need for assistance from tugboats. Number 9. Norwegian Joy, Breakaway Plus Class. Entering service in April of 2017, the Norwegian Joy was the 2nd Breakaway Plus Class cruise ship to join the fleet of the Norwegian Cruise Line. At an estimated cost of 700 million euros, it's 1,094 feet long and 136 feet across the beam. It travels at an average speed of about 25.9 miles per hour, and with 20 decks, it has capacity for about 3,800 passengers and 1,700 crew members. As another vessel that was from the beginning designed to cater to the Asian market, it originally had some significant differences from the other ships in the same class that sailed elsewhere. The decision was made to build fewer cabins, for example, with more that are connected and family-focused. There's also a much larger casino, far more space dedicated to boutique stores, a larger number of restaurants, and even a 2-level racetrack for electric go-karts. A number of these choices were, however, reversed and retrofitted in 2018, when the decision was made to relocate the vessel to the United States. But it still feels unique amongst the other ships that are operated by Norwegian Cruise Line. Number 8. Genting Dream, Premium Class. The Genting Dream was the first cruise ship to be specifically designed to cater to the Asian market and originally set sail with paying passengers on board in November of 2016. It's operated by Dream Cruises, and it's based in various ports around the continent, but mainly operates out of Hong Kong and Singapore. It's 1,100 feet and 2 inches long, 130 feet wide, and has a gross tonnage of 150,000 tons. There's a total of 18 decks, which provide enough space for 3,300 passengers and approximately 1,200 crew, and of course, has all the amenities you'd expect. There are several swimming pools, a fitness suite, a large shopping mall, plenty of restaurants and bars, and even a karaoke bar. With a top speed of 26 miles an hour, it's also a little faster than most large cruise ships, a decision that was made in hope that over a 2-week voyage, the ship would be able to visit an extra port in comparison to what other operators can offer, which is something that particularly appeals to customers who are new to cruises. Number 7. Liberty of the Seas, Freedom Class. Built for Royal Caribbean in 2006 at a cost of around $800 million, the Liberty of the Seas was the second of the 3 Freedom Class vessels. It's 1,111.9 feet long and just over 128 feet across the beam. And with 12 Wärtsilä engines, it can reach a cruising speed of 24.9 miles an hour. It's built across 18 decks in total, of which 15 are open to guests, and this gives room for it to accommodate as many as 4,960 passengers, plus 1,300 crew members. In the years since it first entered service, the Liberty of the Seas has undergone several upgrades, and despite being originally built to the same specs as the other Freedom-class ships, it's now significantly larger. With interiors decorated by Clarissa Parish, a famed cruise ship mural artist, there's a focus on the Liberty of sporting activities, with it offering a flow rider wave generator for surfing, a huge interactive water play area for children, a giant fitness center, and even an ice rink. Amazingly, it also has 2 whirlpools that are suspended over the side to give incredible views of the surrounding ocean. And for those looking for something more thrilling, there are 3 water slides, 2 of which are racers, and the other that has a boomerang-style design. Number 6. MSC Seahorse, Seaside Evo Class. Currently, the MSC Seahorse is the only Seaside Evo class vessel in operation, with a second planned to be introduced at the end of the 2022 season. It was developed for MSC Cruises as an enlarged version of the Seaside class that's proven successful for the company, and the Seahorse first entered service in 2021. It's 1,112 feet long and 135 feet wide at the beam, and believed to cost around 900 million euros, which at the time was approximately $1 billion. The vessel has 19 decks, which provide capacity for up to 5,800 passengers and 1,500 crew members. It has, of course, a number of pools, a large number of restaurants, and all the facilities you'd expect from a modern cruise ship. But it's some of the new technological developments that make this one stand out a bit. It is, for example, the first to incorporate an advanced air sanitation technology called Safe Air, which claims to significantly reduce the risk of catching viruses, which has obvious benefits after the past few years. It also utilizes a special paint on the hull to reduce the wave resistance it experiences, so it's more fuel efficient. Number 5. Disney Wish, Triton Class. The first of the new Triton class of cruise ships, the Disney Wish, which first began operating in the summer of 2022, is currently the largest vessel operated by the House of Mouse, with a further 2 of identical design due to be joining the fleet in the coming years. It was built at the Meyerwerft shipyard in Papenburg, Germany, and measures 1,119 feet long and 128 feet wide. Its top service speed is limited to 25 miles per hour despite being capable of traveling faster than that. And with 15 decks, it can accommodate up to 5,500 passengers and 1,500 crew members. Built with a New Orleans theme throughout, the ship is billed as offering the best Disney experience at sea, and from the initial response, it doesn't disappoint apparently. From touches like the horns that play music from the company's movies and parks to the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge, restaurants based on the most popular properties, and of course a series of Broadway-style shows. It's arguably the most unique cruise ship sailing, and one that offers experiences that no other company can hope to compete with. Number 4. Iona, Excellence Class. The MS Iona is the largest ship in the P&O Cruises fleet, and as an Excellence Class vessel, it immediately became the company's flagship when it was delivered in late 2020. Specifically designed for the British cruise market, it's 1,130 feet long and 138 feet wide, plus it's got a maximum capacity of 5,200 passengers and 1,700 crew. Powered by liquefied natural gas to reduce its emissions compared to other similarly sized ships, there are a number of features unlike anything you'll find anywhere else. From the outside, the most noticeable is the sky dome that's above an area that during the day is the relaxing pool space, but at night becomes a performance venue. There's also a 3-tier glass atrium, a 4-screen theater complex, a sports area with a wide range of different activities, and a number of different bars and venues to cater to all different types of musical tastes. The company promises that no 2 nights will ever be the same, and that you'll be drawn into spectacular views and performances in any direction you look. Even the safety technology is state-of-the-art, to the point where the hoods above the ovens in the galley have self-cleaning mechanisms to drastically reduce the chances of fire. So not only is this one of the most entertaining vessels to have ever set sail, but it's also one of the safest too. Number 3. RMS Queen Mary 2. The Queen Mary 2, which cost around $687 million to build, is the flagship of the Cunard line and has been since 2004 when it was launched. Technically, it's an ocean liner as opposed to a cruise ship, and is the only passenger ship in the world that's been designed to those specifications. This means the vessel isn't laden full of amenities like others, but there's a charm about the Queen Mary 2 that's almost reminiscent of the cruise liners of old. It's the only vessel that regularly sails one route, the transatlantic crossing between New York City and Southampton in the UK, but it's also used for cruises too, including a round-the-world tour once a year. The 149,000 gross tonnage ship is 1,132 feet long and 147.5 feet wide. It's got 18 decks, 14 of which are accessible to passengers, and on board there are 15 restaurants and bars, 5 swimming pools, a casino, a ballroom, a theater, and surprisingly, the world's first planetarium on a ship. Following a refit in 2016, the Queen Mary 2 has a maximum capacity of 2,695 passengers and 1,253 crew members, but each paying guest will stay in a room that's far more luxurious than you'd normally expect. No expense was spared in decorating the interior, and only the best materials available were used. This meant that the ship is extremely durable, so can easily sustain its top speed of 35 miles per hour, which is far faster than most other large passenger ships. Number 2. Odyssey of the Seas, Quantum Ultra Class. Royal Caribbean International is the most successful cruise company in the world, and to keep at the top, the company has invested heavily in the design and construction of the largest vessels of all. Odyssey of the Seas was the 5th of the Quantum-class ships, but had substantial upgrades included compared to the first 3, so is classified as being Quantum Ultra Class. Entering service in the summer of 2021, it measures 1,141 feet long and 137 feet across the beam. In total, there are 16 decks, of which 14 are accessible to guests, and there's a full capacity of 5,500 passengers, along with 1,600 crew members. With so many people on board at once, it is, of course, full of things to do. There are, for example, 15 restaurants and 2 large swimming pools, as well as a Wavelock Flow Rider surf simulator, a rock climbing wall, an indoor skydiving venue, an observation pod, and a basketball court. With further fitness and spa provisions, a huge theater, a casino, and even bumper cars. This ship represents the company going bigger and bolder than ever before, something that's clear the moment you first see it, with its name proudly emblazoned in huge lettering along the side. Now mainly based in Port Everglades for cruising around the Caribbean, it's one of the most impressive and advanced cruise ships on Earth. Number 1. Harmony of the Seas, Oasis Class. Holding the record for being the longest cruise ship in the world is the Harmony of the Seas, which is the 3rd Oasis-class vessel built for Royal Caribbean International. Interestingly, because of slight variations in design, the 2 that were built after it are much heavier and hold the records for being the largest cruise ships, but the Harmony is just a couple inches longer than them. In total, it measures 1,188.1 feet and 217 feet across the beam, making it approximately 90 feet longer than the largest military ships to have ever been built, the Gerald R. Ford-class aircraft carriers. Made up of 18 decks, of which 16 are for guests, it's got 2,700 staterooms, with an advertised capacity of up to 6,700 passengers and 2,300 crew members. On board, it's got a large dry slide complex that's called the Ultimate Abyss, 3 swimming pools, 3 water slides, and 2 surf simulators, along with 20 places to eat and a theater with 1,400 seats. The interior is split into themed neighborhoods like other Royal Caribbean vessels, and in the case of the Harmony, there are 7, including Central Park and Boardwalk. Impressively, there are reportedly 11,200 pieces of art decorating the ship, and it's also claimed to be one of the most energy-efficient vessels on the ocean. This is made possible by the addition of seemingly small changes that combine to make a big difference. Bubbles released from the keel, for example, reduce drag in combination with a much smoother hull surface, and these alone reduce fuel consumption by as much as 10%. LED and fluorescent lamps are used throughout the ship instead of incandescent bulbs, which again reduces power usage and even lowers the need for air conditioning, while the engines themselves harvest the heat that's produced and reuses it as electrical power elsewhere.
Watch our Vehicles playlist for more top 15 videos about amazing vehicles. Sit back, relax, and binge watch all of our best vehicle videos.